please.
Just tell me that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice to see everybody here tonight. Been a while. Roll call, please.
All right, Lois Tiley,
Here.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Christine Newman,
Here.
Richard Horner,
Here.
Kathy Harris,
Here.
Diane Dennis,
Here.
and Sarah Tiley.
Here.
Well, I guess we get right into the budget discussion, or have you got some other highlights ahead of time, or?
No, welcome and thank you. I think this is a good opportunity for us to go through this kind of line by line. In front of you, I printed off the revenue and expenditure report up to date as of today, this morning actually. So you can see what kind of budget we have, what's been used as a reference point. And you have the proposed fiscal year 2021-2022 budget, which totals $2,479,000, $282 as well, a $555,000 decrease from last year. That said, a lot of it had to do with COVID. It really hurt the state revenue. They have, as of last week, recouped all of their pre-COVID expenses. The state budget is $67.1 billion, which is a 7% increase from last year, $4.3 billion increase. So they are prepared for 21-22. They are worried about 22-23, as am I. So our constitutional and statutory revenue from the state is actually up 7.2% from where it was when COVID hit, which is great news, but is projected to go down 1.9% next year. And that seems to be the theme, that we're going to be okay for this year, but watch out for next year. They're projecting that personal income will decline about 2.9% this year. 1 out of every 10 jobs in Michigan is gone during COVID, lost, not to return is what they're saying. So this budget keeps that in mind, as I mentioned in the letter that I sent out, that the state actual payments will differ from these estimates if the economy experiences a further slowdown. So we made it through. We were able to accomplish some things last year. Knock on wood, our staff is safe. Their families are safe. Everybody's been working hard every day. There was never a day where somebody wasn't in the office to assist residents should they park outside and want to come in, pay a water bill. We try to take them over the phone. We try to use the lockbox as much as possible, but we were here every day to support the village. So if you want to grab your budget worksheet that you should have, we can begin to go through this. Property taxes are estimated to increase about 2%. And so you will see that at $445,000. And if you look at your revenue and expenditure sheet, you can see we've taken in about $437,000. So it's about 2% more, and according to the county and the state, that is acceptable. There is one change I'd like to make. Line item 101-000-575-000, the state revenue sharing, the CVTRS. That number has decreased by $991 as of last week. So the new total would be $39,646. The good news there is the state revenue sharing constitutional payment has increased by $8,394. So that new total will be $185,985. And I'll try to slow down, 185,985. As you can see, our pavilion rental took a hit during COVID. We did a lot of refunds. There were a lot of reunion parties, graduation parties that never happened. I'm hoping they will be back. I'm hoping, people understand social distancing and mask wearing and are willing to be outside. So that number could go up. So that, the total estimated revenue for the general fund is now $959,271. We can turn to page 2.
Now, you're not using any part of the savings out of general to balance this part of the budget? right?
We have not, no,
Okay,
I don't expect we will have to.
okay.
So, line item, the computer supplies, computer maintenance, those are lower, the maintenance is the same, but we received $43,232 in CARES Act grant money that we reached out for. And with about 10,000 of that, we were able to buy all new computers, laptops for staff so that we can work remotely should we be shut down again. So I don't expect computer supplies to be necessary. We did also receive $2,798 for hazard pay for our police. That just includes the current police, the 3, Officer Church, Ethan Thompson, and Brian Bird. Received generous payments for their hard work on duty while during COVID. When after
Did they get like a bonus or something?
they did.
Okay,
Yep. $1,000 almost each. I was trying to get it for our DPW workers as they watch over our potable water and make sure that we all are able to drink, which is a human rights issue. But they do not qualify, sorry, Don. And we did receive a public safety reimbursement in the tune of $30,000 to help backfill any money that we will lose from the state. So, that
where
number-
did that go?
the public safety reimbursement?
Yeah,
We put that towards police, as far as their health care. We put it towards, I mean, it's not gonna be in this budget.
it's not in this,
Nope, we
you
used
didn't
it,
put it back in the original budget?
we used it last year, and so you'll see that, just to cover costs.
Okay,
Continuing with kind of last year's past practice where the auditor, Darcy, wishes to place the pension liabilities where they rest. You will see the pension plan expenditures in the clerk's office, treasurer's office, and everywhere that we have the liabilities, mostly in the police department. But that is something so that we know exactly what we owe. We are now up to, I believe, 63.79% funded. We have outstanding liabilities of about $2.8 million.
okay, but the, police department is still not close to being above 50%, right?
No.
No, okay.
Nope. And as far as OPEB, we're putting more money towards OPEB, this year, 63,000, as opposed to 32,000 last year. We have an outstanding liability of $1.7 million there. The state's really come after the pensions the last few years, where we've had to make a corrective action plan on what we're doing. We have put 90,000 into a division, S1, which is a supplemental division that grows and accumulates interest that we put towards all the payments that, so we should be 94% funded in 2030, 100% in 2031. So that was huge.
And they accepted that?
They have accepted
Yeah.
that. If we continue on this path, we should be fine. We have phased out a lot of that, but I can really see the state coming after OPEB and wanting to know where you are on that. Now that most municipalities have covered above 60% as far as pensions, they're gonna want the OPEB next.
Well,
And I think we're about 5.8% funded. We really haven't made it a priority, so this budget does that.
okay,
The good news on that, we also shut down that program and switched it to a health savings account. That really, so I believe there's only, I don't want to guess, but I think there's only 11 active members in our healthcare program at this time,
okay.
so.
Does that include the retirees too?
It does. So we'll be okay. This budget does include a modest 2% increase for all employees, especially the non-union employees, I should say, because the union contract dictates that they will receive a 2% increase that we signed last year. So that's already kind of set, but this is for all employees except for myself, as we previously negotiated. And so I would hope that you would consider that. A lot of places are putting freezes on. The county, I think they cut considerably. A lot of departments have been cut pretty hard at the county. So for us to be able to do this is still a great positive, and I hope they understand that during these times, this, not everybody's doing this, but we want to continue on our end of the bargain on what we promised them.
Remind me what we did with yours.
So originally, I went up 2% last April 1st, and then in September I went up, I think, of 1.75 or something like that.
Okay,
And I believe next month I will have another evaluation, and then September a full evaluation again, so.
okay.
So this is, page 2 is mostly just wages, offers us abilities to do conferences and workshops to get training for staff. I've asked Jenny to become a notary, just in case people need
Oh,
it in
that's
town.
fun. I like that.
We haven't charged anybody yet, I've considered it, I know other places do, but I just try to get, last year she was supposed to go to a training, I believe up north, and COVID hit, and so everything's been virtual, and I'm guessing that's gonna be the wave of the future, but doesn't mean we don't need to
To
stay.
be a
up.
notary?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I
For
was gonna say, go down to
clerkship,
the
sorry,
notary.
for clerkship, for treasury, just to keep them on top of the game and learn new things, so this budget really invests in our employees.
No.
Page 3 at the top, custodial wages. I'd asked to increase that by $403, which is part of the $7,403 increase from the constitutional state revenue sharing for our custodian. It's not much, it's about $7 a week increase, but she was pleased. She caught me at the gas station this morning in Sitco.
Did she get it in both of them?
Not both, just
Just the ours.
in the village, Halls and Grounds,
Okay.
which I thought was a good deal for us.
Well, after we had talked yesterday, I thought, maybe we should just put her on the 2% plan. Just give,
That's not,
what is 2% of 4?
well,
It'd be
of that whole thing, it wouldn't
be
be.
$80, right?
Yeah. 88, 90 bucks, 88, 40, which I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I think.
Well, we
said-
gave her more than that.
Overall, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so not much. She was pleased about it this morning. I don't recall the last time she received a pay
Not
raise.
often.
I think the last time was $5 a pay period, so I'm okay with that, cleaning during COVID, but, not sure how much longer before retirement for her anyway, so.
Okay.
Utilities and village hall and grounds, I would ask to increase that $2,000 to $12,000. And that would increase the department totals to $26,562.
Wait a minute, what are you
For the
increasing?
utilities, under village hall and grounds,
So instead of
instead
3,
of 10,000, it'd be 12,000.
okay, because I've got 3 and 11.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm above, village hall and grounds, 265, not 269, not other village property, up at the top.
Village Hall and Grounds.
So 2 above that.
Oh, okay.
So the utilities for here,
These up here,
Yep.
utilities from 13.5 to what?
10, it went down to 10, and I want to boost it up to 12,000.
Okay.
And that's all I have on page 3. Page 4, I would like to boost gas and oil, $2,000 to $5,300. Gas is going up, and I'm not sure when it's gonna stop. I basically just swapped the money between gas and oil and repairs and maintenance for the cars upkeep. Originally, when Chief Meat Leader was here, he was thinking about a new vehicle this year. But he didn't have a preventative maintenance program whatsoever for the cars. They weren't getting the routine oil changes, tire rotations, anything. Chief Church has stayed on top of that. We check in regularly. We do have, both cars have new tires. We use CARES Act dollars for that as well. They're very restrictive in use, and that was one of them. If it was police or fire or EMT, you could use it. So I said, let's do as much as we can with the federal dollars rather than our own.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a swap there, so I'd like to boost that gas and oil up. And that would increase the department total to $343,229. Moving down to building inspection, I increased the money for miscellaneous, for conferences and memberships for Scott. He is very strict on what he needs to attend to stay licensed, and we've been splitting it between the townships. So the last conference he went to, we threw in $20. St. Charles Township threw in 20, and I think he's with Brant. Is that the other one he's with? Or is he with Marion? Marion threw in 20. So you will see in your revenues and expenditure sheet, due to that apartment upgrade, Scott has brought in, you'll see at the top, $20,000, which isn't gonna be every year,
But don't they still have more permits to pull this year?
they do.
So should you have upped that, just a tad?
I could, I didn't probably go high enough, I went just very little.
I don't think so. I mean, 20,000, but that's a $2 million project. I read in the paper this week.
Okay.
And I don't think they've pulled all their permits. I think they're doing it as they go along, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think he's got 2 sets of like 49 or 50. They send them individually.
Yeah.
so you wanna boost the building permits
Well, I think
to
you
10?
should.
What do you think more?
I bet it's gonna be around $12,000.
Did they say in the paper their estimated, completion date or year or anything like that?
It did. I don't remember what it said. The only thing that stuck out to me was the $2 million and all the thing they're doing to each apartment. So each apartment has plumbing, electrical, everything in it, because they're just basically redoing it. And if they've only done 2, then they've got
They've got a long way to go.
1, 2, 3, 4 to go. Right? Is there?
There's 2 in the back,
and
2
two
on
in
the
front?
side, and then those 2 little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I don't remember if it's plumbing or electrical, but I had to help him make copies, but they sent in a stack of them, and I think we've gotten 2 checks, so we might have gotten like the building, or,
So maybe they pulled more permits than they have completed the stuff.
He was off today, he's on vacation, so I don't know what exactly
Okay.
he has.
Well, I guess, if you're not short in the general fund, just leave it alone and it'll just be extra money.
That's kinda how I looked at it.
Yeah.
A cushion, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, on page 4, you'll also see the ecology donation continues, beautification day, we didn't use all the dollars this year, that was scaled back considerably. I thought town still looked nice, though. Took a lot of volunteer effort. I'm not sure what it, Lori hasn't reached out. I've sent her a couple emails to see what her plans are, but I haven't heard anything. And you'll see the refuse collection and contracted services up as we match to fit what Mid-Michigan Waste is doing.
Okay.
Everybody's refuse is gonna go up about $5 a household. Page 5, Parks and Rec, happy to announce, I mentioned a few meetings ago about this young gentleman moved back to town from Traverse City, Sam Mayer, and how we helped him on a weekend clean up 27 dump truck loads of just debris and trees out of the disc golf course. And he really wants to partner, and you know, Don was very impressed. It's one of those where you meet the kid, and I don't walk away a lot from a lot of conversations thinking, wow. Especially, I hate to say this, but with younger people, and think, I'm impressed by that person. He's got it together. He knows what he's doing. So it was one of those, let's set it up and see how they react. Well, within 6 hours, 27 dump truck loads, no dilly-dallying, just cut. 2 guys cut, 3 guys cut. He did this skid steer into the dump truck, gone, back, all day, 6 hours.
He has buddies?
He has a
He has
couple.
friends, and they're good work, they're all good work.
Okay,
So, last week, we had Parks, and the Little League came to us wanting new dugouts, which I believe the cost the last time was about $4,000. They want a new garage door on the concession stand, and I told them they were supposed to have a quote, they didn't. So we came to the conclusion that we were gonna look at the garage door and see if we can piecemeal it and make it look nice without having to buy a whole new door. And as far as the dugout, I reached out to Sam and said, hey, I know we talked about partnering and you wanna still clean up some more in the disc golf course. Do you have any connection with roofers or anything like that? He said, I'm gonna reach out to some people and I'll let you know. So within, I think it was about 2 hours, he called me back and they're gonna replace all the dugouts roofs, volunteer, labor as well. 30-year shingles, they told me to pick out Owens Corning, whatever color I want, so I matched it up with the pavilion roofs. They're gonna do the new drip edge, any sheathing that needs to be done. And all he asked is we set up another day to help him clean up. He's already cut the wood, and he just needs a dump truck to load it into when it's not too messy. And so we were doing the math there, I think for a $28 investment on our end, we're getting about $4,000 worth of work.
That's awesome.
So a lot of these,
Fair trade.
a lot of this money
it's a
that
fair trade, but I want the Little League people to understand, we did this, they could have done it, and we are not paying the money for this. Cause I don't know how we got the Little League in here.
I do, math,
But yes,
and we never, we kept it separate, because there was a problem a long time ago.
Okay. I don't mind them if there's a partnership, and the same thing with Sam. I'm willing to help you if you're willing to help us, but when they come in every year, and I want this, this, and this. Well, are you gonna pay for half? Do you wanna partner? Do you have people to do the labor? Which I know they do.
That's what we went through, I was on the park committee many years, and they made demands, and we didn't have the money. Did the best we could,
So now, if they don't like the shingles, tough.
yeah.
In 30 years, you can replace them. You know, windstorm will, help out. So I think that's a great partnership.
I
Even,
think it's wonderful that he came to you in the first place.
yeah,
It would
I
be-
had heard about him, but, and I know where he lives.
It would be really nice to recognize him in some way, or
For
honor
sure.
him.
I
or-
want him on the park board, but with his work schedule, I'm not sure if it's feasible. So then the other thing, we had talked about signage for the disc golf course. And I said, we'd be happy to partner. You've done very well for us. It's one of those, the same thing that we could do with Little League if they helped us. So he went out, and he wants to put these on every hole. I have it blown up, but it's a
Okay.
nice sign that says the Pines Disc Golf Course, St. Charles, hole number, par 3, distance 287 feet, and has a map of where you're supposed to
Oh,
go.
that's nice, those guys will like that.
Oh, yeah.
18 of these, and it cost $950. And I said, we'd be happy to go half with you. He said, nope, we'll take care of it, as long as you're okay with us hanging it a little higher on the tree so the kids don't mess with it. Looked at Don, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that'll
So-
work.
So another, you know, I call it a public-private partnership, a P3, where just through this connection, good things are already happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna bash Lily, but I don't see that. So that's gonna look awesome, we'll keep cleaning that out for him, and, you know, he points things out to us when he's in the park, hey, a couple pieces of fence broke. If you get the wood, I'll do it. No, Don, be happy to go out and do it. So good things are happening, so a lot of the money here, I'm not saying it's free, but we can look at doing other things with it, other parts. I'm not sure what else you'd have in mind, Parks Committee wants to see more benches in the park, one a year. They wanna see us buy some trees for the park, some flowering, beautiful ones, which this frees up money to do that. And we have had a couple inquiries, 4 park benches with a dedication to memorial type. They're about $1,200 when all things said and done, so a lot of times people will reach out, but once they hear the price, they kind of back away, so we'll see. But this allows us to at least put one bench in along the path somewhere, and maybe a few trees that we'd like to do, so.
Yeah, we put in some money, for one over in Montrose, and theirs are $2,000 a piece.
They're beautiful.
You have to get exactly what they
Yep.
want.
Yep.
But you know, there's a lot of people involved in the funeral, and a lot of people that can't go to them, so they're willing to put in some money to do a bench, you know, so I think that's a good idea, to have it ready when they call and say, this is the bench we want.
Yep.
And, you know, they have to do their own inscribing and everything on it, so, they're getting them over there on their walkway.
Mm-hmm. Also in parks, Rebel Magnolia submitted another application, $500 to host in May. I believe it was May 8th. I will bring that application to you all next month for review. So more money coming in, more people coming to town. I think the first one, they had 4,000 people, and we didn't have a ton of cases rise after that. That was my big fear 2 weeks after. Watched the COVID cases spike in St. Charles, and this is all my fault. Didn't happen, and so they kind of have better protocols. Again, they brought in their own washrooms or wash stations, their own toilets, their own garbage. It was a good partnership. There were a lot of complaints about parking, which we think we're working on figuring that out. They're working on partnering with the alley for like a burger and a french fries and a beer for, you know, $2 or something along those lines to bring business into the people, so it's not just at the park. So another good partnership that we're working on, so kind of exciting. I didn't hear a lot of bad press or anything out of that, surprisingly, other than parking. But one DPW member who shall remain nameless just said he's gonna put a $10 parking sign in his yard and go from there and see if he can make a buck or two.
I could make some.
Yeah, you could make some great money.
You
$20.
men- Yeah. You mentioned planting trees in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any trees we have to look at that should be cut down? Do we have anything like that, or are
We've
they
got
all
some,
good?
we've been taking a few of the dead ones out that are
Yeah,
troublesome, but yeah, there's a few. but
there's some old ones in there.
We're trying to not cut too many down. We'd like to, if we cut one down, replace one, but,
Yeah.
and we do have plans this spring to plant a few trees around town from the ones that we have taken out already, so.
Well, that's good.
But anyway, back to Sam. That kid, I'll tell you what, he told us what he was gonna do, and he went above and beyond it and followed through with it, and it's great to work with somebody that does that kind of thing.
Now, this is the guy that goes to work in the helicopter, right? Out by
His
me?
dad, I believe, is.
His dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he followed through with what he said and more, and that was great. And I told him, we don't mind working with people like that.
Mhm.
So,
That disc golf course is always busy,
yeah, I never
Just-
realized how big a deal it is. and he
Oh,
said it's a
real.
big thing.
all winter even.
Yeah, until snow got too deep. they
And
couldn't walk
people
across
from
it.
all over come here.
Well, and I don't know if Hart told you, he was saying like sometimes places host events and donate money to the municipality that owns the course for other things too, so.
Okay. Like if they have a tournament or something?
Right, they have a
Yeah.
tournament, maybe half of their, what do you say, something like that?
Yeah, he said we could split the
Split the-
tournament, basically the
Okay.
entrance fees, and you guys could end up with like $5,000.
Steve walks over there, my husband walks over there just about every day, and he was talking to some guys one day, and this one guy he was talking to said that they've had as many as 300 people for these tournaments.
That's huge.
It's like
Yeah.
$20 a
Like you said.
person, maybe more.
Yeah, so,
I know in the south, there, it's crazy down there, cause that's who started it, was Bob Slominski next door to me. His son in South Carolina plays this game, and then his other son got started, and, I mean, that man drove me crazy. Every time I went outside, he was out there. Are you gonna look into that disc golf course? I think you got room for it. I think you could really do it, you know? And, he finally, it ended up costing us like $3,000 to do it. It was ridiculous. You call the company that sells the stuff, and they practically build the golf course for you. The first one, they give you the baskets and all that stuff, and, but it was Bob, and boy, he was determined. But he said his boys play it all the time. They go all over the United States and play that.
yeah, there's some serious,
They came to all our park meetings too.
Did they?
And Steve said, all right, I'm gonna teach you how easy this is, throw this disc. So he taught us how to throw the disc, and they were in a lot of park meetings, but it was a good idea.
Well, we had to get extra, land,
Yeah,
and I had to work with, Mrs. Lissick.
oh,
So that took a while,
Yeah, I
but we got it
remember.
done, so.
well, this is something they can do all year long, too.
They can, until it gets, like you said, so
Until it
deep,
gets
they
too
really,
deep, yeah.
And that's only been about the last month they
Yeah.
can use it, so. Yeah, how many times you go by on Sunday, look down there, there'd be 10, 15 cars parked down there at the end of it.
yeah, and there's just that roller rink.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he has plans to, redo the tee boxes or the pads, and,
Yeah.
he had the signage plans, and he took care of that before we even really met again, which is incredible, so. So the parks are gonna have, I think, some good representation, great use, great suggestions, coming from a lot of different areas, so. Moving down to the planning commission, as you'll see, there's 19,500 there for the zoning ordinance rewrite. I presume it'll probably be closer to $25,000 to $30,000.
Did you budget some of that somewhere else?
The DDA,
Okay,
I think they're gonna have a big say in this, downtown businesses,
Right.
especially in regard to marijuana, on where and what and how. So I think they should definitely pay for that, a portion.
good.
And that is the general fund. So our state shared revenue dollars went up. Kind of funny, it went down, up, then down. So as of last February at the revenue estimating conference, we went up, and then COVID hit. We've gone down as much as almost $30,000, and now we're back up to almost where we were.
Okay,
So that's encouraging. You will see the undesignated fund balance of $100,000. That is a general fund transfer that Darcy, our auditor, wants to do as a no-interest loan, say over 6 years, and she has it kind of out like this that I'll pass down.
so it's not part of the transfer from general, this is something different.
It's a no-interest loan from the general, so it
Okay.
essentially is, but she says you don't have to show it.
Okay, so it's under undesignated
Yep.
fund balance.
It's new to me, I've not seen it done this way.
Me either, do we have $100,000 extra in major?
We didn't pay for the asphalt from last year, because we didn't get it done in the fall.
Yeah,
So we just haven't transferred it yet, so we'll leave it there, and then we'll do it as the no-interest loan. in fiscal year 21-2022.
Okay. What's the? Yeah.
We do have our non-motorized, Act 51 required expenditures to receive the money, basically trees and sidewalks. We just agreed through a bid process to pay about $2,900 and eliminate some trees around town that are dead, just so that we qualify and continue to qualify for our Act 51 dollars. In years past prior, I don't believe they were meeting their threshold, and we're getting dinged by the state and having to report more than they should have, so we're gonna do that, and that, you'll see that in the non-motorized sections and the construction section. I know there's a previous council member who has sidewalk in front of his house that needs to be replaced, and we'll get to that in the spring.
Really?
It was our tree, and we will do it. Routine maintenance and the capital outlay is where that asphalt for the Fulton Hosmer project will be taken out of. Page 7, and land maintenance,
We're charging no one for this?
Yeah.
the rest of that fund is really just routine, as far as wages, overtime, billing out to the equipment rental, increase to the fund equity, transfer to OPEB, transfer to local, and the transfer to retirement fund or MERS pensions. We have, I believe, 5.41 major street miles, or the equivalent of 5.951 street miles, and just under 10.7 local street miles.
Okay, and under capital outlay, the 94,000 is what?
The asphalt for Fulton and Hosmer,
Okay, and then the $100,000 up here was for what?
that was for that. I don't think we're gonna need all of it. The quote came in at 91.
Okay, so we had the money last year and didn't spend it,
Mm-hmm.
but now we don't have the money anymore. Where'd it go?
It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still in the general fund. It's in the undesignated fund balance.
You were gonna take it from general fund to begin with,
Correct.
and it's still sitting in there.
Correct.
So now we're gonna take it from the general fund and use it in this fund.
Yes.
Okay. Who's this girl again?
Darcy? She's from Watkins Ross?
Nope,
No, she's
Berthium.
Berthium.
She's
Oh,
our
from-
auditor,
from
Darcy.
Ken. Okay,
Yes.
So she does all the work, and then Ken comes in and gives the speech.
yep. Okay,
I put 94, the quote again was 91, but I could see some issues or needing extra asphalt, especially by Union Court, around some of the curbage over there.
yep.
So it's there at 100 just in case, but I think 94.
Well, they'll never find it and figure it out, so it's okay.
What was the original quote on the asphalt part, 200?
227,000, and we're getting it for 91.
So, with Hart and a little work from the DPW, we're saving about $100,000.
That's great. It's just an unusual way of doing it.
When she first tried to explain it, I won't say explain it, tried to explain it, I'm like, why would we do it that way?
Yeah,
This shows everything we're doing right in the budget. So
I'm sure I've done something much more ingenious than that at one time or another.
Creative.
Creative, it's creative, yes.
local street revenues were projected to go up, then dipped a lot and back up just about where we were, pre-COVID, so. We'll take it, I think, I'm trying to think, the state.
Well, I probably should tell the people that don't know that we're allowed to transfer from major X number of dollars every year into local, because local never has enough money. So that's just to help us take care of the local
And some
streets.
of the local streets actually get treated like major streets, even though.
They do.
Even though they are.
Yeah, for instance, Fulton and Hosmer is considered major. Across the street at, what is it, at probably, across the street, it's local, it becomes local again.
So like Flint Street is a local street,
Yeah,
it's not a
that's-
major street. It would be, but
I know, and Charles Street is a major street because I traded it for Saginaw Street.
Yeah, some of the streets you think should be are not, and some that.
Mhm.
they're not,
However you can get them paved.
Oh, I just have to sign this?
No, you just wanna pass it down, I did find the printout, so
Nice. I like them.
I think that looks sharp, and again, we're not paying for it.
Yeah, right.
$50.
Makes it extra sharp.
Yeah. The category B, grant funds from the state that require 50% match just came out, yesterday. Part of me wants to see if I can go after Fulton and Hosmer and have the state, or pay half of that and see if the state will pay the other half. I went through all of the people that were awarded last year, and it was a lot smaller. We went for the full amount, and they would go for 30%, or 30,000 and match 30,000, or 60,000, 60,000, something. If we go for,
They like
50.
50-50.
yeah, it's 50/50, but if we go 50,000, we might need that complete transfer from the undesignated fund balance, so. We did go after, we tried to get spruce and cherry, and didn't get that, but work with John Olson on that as well, so.
Mhm.
So nothing out of the ordinary in the streets other than the Act 51 motorized that we have required, the trees and the sidewalks. We really need to, the park, we've been talking about doing that for, well, before I got here.
Yeah, talking about extending the walkway from Bristol to meet up to the current path through that right away.
Do we own that? That's a street, right?
It's the right away, yeah. Yeah, Bristol extends all the way to the park.
And that would knock out all our.
That would be really nice because all those people have fences,
Mhm.
Diane. And, there's really no way to get into the park from that side.
I feel like we can use the money better places than that, because,
Okay.
I mean, there's a sidewalk all the way to the front of the road, and, I mean, if you can't walk to the end of the road and get into the park,
Okay.
there's an issue. Where there's other places, I feel like we
Well,
can
but
use the
some
money better.
people-
I really do think, though, it would be used a lot, just from living there. There's a lot of people between Woodlawn and Sunview that would go cut through.
It's not even that thing, and they like to walk down Woodlawn,
Yeah,
come halfway up, do some, you walk into the park, walk around there. They can get a good 2 miles in by doing something like that. Of course, I suppose if they walk to the end of the road too and go back into the park, but,
There's a lot of people that walk that park on a regular basis.
oh, absolutely.
yeah.
But I mean, like, if you're out walking anyway, why does it really matter?
get that.
Like, you're walking anyway.
I wanna walk at the park, not to the park.
Yeah, the only thing I would think of is, it's a danger to just have that open like that and people use it all the time. And if somebody falls or does something,
It's also a nuisance to the people who live there. I used to live there.
Well, they got
Oh.
that, still have
Yeah,
that
they-
log right there too, don't they, blocking that?
well, yeah, but people just climb over the log.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we move that, they'd be all kinds of.
But then you got
Well,
cars
they drive
coming
in
in the
there.
back.
Yeah.
of
They
it.
used to drive in there, so we pulled the log back in
Yeah.
there.
I mean, if it ever comes to fruition, we would have some kind of barricades where a car can't drive through.
Right,
Okay.
The opening wouldn't be wide enough to affect the vehicle.
yeah.
I think we had a problem with golf cart last year around the park there for a while, but I think that may have gotten resolved.
Well, I think they could get through there if they want to anyway, by using someone's yard.
True. I think it was more of an education thing on that, they, common sense, you would say you shouldn't be in there, but.
I can't believe how many deer I have seen in the park run past that fence. and they go toward the doctor's office.
Well, that's a pretty major runway when they cross right there. There's
Don't
usually a
they,
couple
they walk
kill-
down my street?
We haven't had any killed this year, have we?
There's been
No,
so
but the
many
year
deer
before, we had
in
3 or 4
town.
hit right there.
There's a lot of deer in the park.
That was almost a statistic this morning. Statistic.
Yeah, we actually, I think last year, we had one somebody shot and it died right up there by the gazebo too.
Yeah, that was a little touchy.
They're a little sketchy.
And the DNR doesn't want anything to do
Yeah, they
with
don't
it.
want nothing to do with it. They
Wow.
don't care.
Go get the loader.
Yeah, so.
Well, and the people that live there, they hear a gunshot and they go, oh, well.
Yeah.
That was probably shot back in the back and that just.
I'm not so sure.
Maybe that's that shot we heard, Chris.
Maybe it is. It was down on your end.
I know.
Hey, I had a neighbor this year who shot out his backyard and got a deer too.
Hmm. Did he give you any?
No,
Well, then why didn't you say something to him?
right.
The
He told me he'd
Eagles-
bring me a bag of apples. I was like, oh, okay.
The Eagles sure like that deer.
I bet they did.
Oh, man, it's amazing, there's 3 adult ones feeding on that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty amazing.
That
Would
was
you
nice.
do,
That
was
nice. You
it feed
took
it
the
on
deer.
in the park, they were eating it?
No, we drug it up actually on the road to the lagoons where we could see it from our building.
Oh, and then you could watch them eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was nice of you, Don, taking them dinner.
Mother Nature takes care of herself.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
A little lunch in the show.
Yeah.
So the rest of local, routine, business as usual, allows Don to do to buy and purchase the things he needs to take care and maintain. Allows us to go after cutting trees along right-of-ways and things of that nature as people complain, as is our duty. The village street millage fund, I'm wondering if we wanna pick some roads to repave that have good infrastructure underneath that we're not gonna be tearing up in a couple of years. Anybody have any suggestions, or, I know what I want done, but I don't think, again, still waiting for the preliminary engineering from Spicer as well on the USDA rural development. We'd start on the older side of town. So if there's something on the newer side that is pretty bad, let me know, we can look into.
Can I just ask a quick question? This thing you gave us
Mm-hmm,
was as of today?
mm-hmm, that is correct.
Okay, when I'm looking at major and local and the winter and
Mm-hmm,
local maintenance, we've already gone over in winter maintenance for major, but we haven't for local. And let me look at the routine. The routine maintenance had leftover money. Where we didn't use it all. Are you gonna fix all that?
we will.
The wages and stuff?
Yeah,
Yep, Marguerite will have a, Darcy will give her some stuff to
yeah,
move
let's see,
around.
like routine maintenance.
What
And
page
then-
on it?
Okay. and then it'll say wages under routine maintenance, and it'll tell you what we budgeted
Okay.
and what we've spent to date.
Mhm.
So this is what we have left
Left
over, and
over.
right now, we're not
Right.
charging out to them because it's winter.
Right.
So then you go over to, winter maintenance on, must be page 9. And the wages are
Right.
16,600, you already spent 16,700,
Yep,
so we're already over,
right.
okay? That's the kind of stuff I look at,
And I know
but they do
Hart-
too,
Hart and I and Margarita talked about there's some adjustments.
okay?
When COVID was going on, some things were, not.
Well, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's winter, so, you start charging like crazy to that one. And I just went, do you switch over in November
We normally do, yes.
from one to the other? Okay,
November first, I know.
yeah, no matter what, I don't care if it's sunny, hot, and balmy, you're in winter maintenance.
Yep.
Okay. Did we hire a new guy?
We did.
When did he start?
He started just before Christmas.
December 23rd.
So he's in here.
Yep, he's Corey Henneman. He lives
Okay.
over on Baumgartner Road.
Got his training in the dump truck already.
Okay, well, so he's in the wages.
Yeah, he's actually on his own plowing on the north side of town here now.
Okay, he's going a little faster than he was too. He was very slow at first.
Yeah, I think he's pretty cautious.
Okay,
It's not how fast you plow, it's how well you plow fast.
that's right. That's right. Hal used to tell me was how far you could get the snow up into the front yard.
Well, actually, believe it or not, speed does help also. because
Yep.
it doesn't leave a big burn.
He
on
said he
the side.
tries to hit he always tried to hit my front window.
That's why if you ever go out in the county, you notice there's never any burns along the side of the road, but here in town there is. 'Cause
Yeah.
We can't get the speed they can to get a little kick on us.
Yes. Well, you can at ours because it's dead end coming back at me, so
The mailboxes seem like they're still standing, so.
they are. They're all still
Oh,
out there.
he's coming along, but,
Okay, good. So his wages were not budgeted for. Well, they are. They were,
They're
what's his name?
Ricardo's.
Okay.
Right, right.
Is he making less than Ricardo did?
I think it's pretty
It's
close,
pretty close, but he's making less.
Okay.
Yeah.
but there was a long gap. but we didn't have
I was gonna say there's a long gap where nobody was paid.
Right.
Okay. Okay. But you, of course, have included him now in this year's wages
Correct.
and spread it all out where it's supposed to be.
Correct.
Okay. So what are you waiting for, a street to pave?
If you have any suggestions, if not,
I'm sure you can pay mine. I was last time, I'll go first. There's really nothing wrong with it though.
eventually,
Well,
I'd like to get
this
spruce done.
street and
Yes,
Walnut Street
yes.
is really getting bad.
That, this, right out here, this block
Yeah,
here is
Walnut's
bad.
really falling apart.
Yeah.
This one's terrible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I
When
think
Scott
we are-
comes in,
We've already tried to budget for spruce and cherry here, I believe,
we have,
Okay,
this one much.
Mhm.
yeah,
We're not gonna touch this one till the water main gets replaced.
okay.
Well, there you go.
Well, this one's so low that it just,
Yeah, the Bellwood library used to be that.
that's really
They
bad
used to
right
have stone across there and that kind of created a dam before all the water rose.
there. Okay,
So maybe that's so bad.
so, top of page 10, DDA. There is a new township treasurer, is that correct?
just going through them.
What's that?
Treasurer, the clerk, you have, Regina's there, she's the clerk, right? And who's the treasurer?
Christie Warren.
Christie. And they have new software they're using, so we think the DDA captured dollars will be recouped a little bit faster and more accurately, so we left it the same. As far as rent, I mentioned before in the Goodrich building, we did not increase the rent rates due to COVID. They paid even though they couldn't be open for much of the year, so we thought we'd do something nice. DDA counselor board approved, authority approved. I've seen a lot of places that, people are suing to get their money back, larger cities mostly, but I don't want to even consider that or think about that, so I thought we were doing the right thing here. We have increased the money for the DDA community projects, which is the facade grant. You know, Bad River really redid that whole side, a little bit of front, he has bigger plans. The library fixed up their building. Dev Woods redid and made over, I mean, they only asked for, I think, $2,500, but I think they put $100,000 into that building, so.
Which one's that?
It's beautiful,
The
the
Dev
old
Woods.
health department,
there.
it's beautiful
yeah.
inside.
Yeah,
I'm still looking at downtown on ways to make it better. Mark Spa Pools is listed for $55,000. Salon Clips is listed for $89,000 for sale. So I don't know, you know, maybe they'll want to spruce up, or maybe we can help suggest they spruce up. I mentioned I do have Scott going downtown and making sure there's no blight, and ding them for whatever you can ding them on. More so than Mark Spa Pools. I'd like to see something happen there this year. I did, in the repairs and maintenance and DDA, the Goodrich building, they've asked for 2 new doors and a new entranceway in the back. It's been a few years, at least she said this morning, I think 5 to 10 years since they've done anything. I told her, you know, there's $10,300 there. Verbally, I said, oh, I think I only budgeted about 4 to 7 for that. She said, oh, I can make that work, so she's gonna get some quotes and bring them in.
who's doing that?
She's gonna go get quotes for us to review.
Who's she?
Sue Keveen.
Oh, Keevan?
Keevan.
Sue Keevan's gonna do it?
She's gonna get the quotes for us.
Okay.
And she mentioned, you know, Owasso Carpet, she mentioned, you know, do we have a contractor? I said no, so she named some friends that she had that were. I mentioned, you know, Mike Banning used to do stuff for us, so I said reach out to him. So, I said 3 quotes on all of it, and we'll go from there, so. That'll be nice for the residents, or the businesses in there.
Well, I wanna keep the Secretary of State happy.
Yes.
That's what we want, and,
Mhm.
you know, if it has to be ADA compliant, we will make sure it's ADA compliant. And that capital outlay, there is money for zoning and ordinance, rewrite. The DDA.
Oh, okay, that's the rest of it?
Yep, so the community projects, the old fashioned Christmas parade, if 93.7 comes again, that's about $2,500 there, so not too bad. They wanna do the STC hometown days again, but they didn't require anything from us. There's a little money in there in case they do want us to promote or do something. They had a good response because that was kind of when we opened back up in October. And the restaurants really needed people to be downtown, and they did well that weekend, so we'll probably do that again. Moving along to page 11. Onto the sewer fund, we did increase the sewer charges. Penalties we decreased, as we're still not sure when we'll be able to do anything about that. If you look on the top of page 13 in your revenue and expenditure sheet, you'll see that we brought in $172,285, which is $20,000 more than last year. So this number could even probably go up a little higher. There's also a cushion as well. But this is a lot of equipment fund transfer in as far
How
as
do you go backwards in penalties?
we can't charge them.
Well, I know, but
So we're hoping that she'll let that up and we can at least get something.
well, we got $420 less than what we budgeted for. Okay.
Oh, the $4.20,
Yeah.
it was a bill adjustment earlier in the year.
Okay, I was gonna say, how can you go backwards with nothing?
Yeah, when I first pulled the report, I looked and I'm like, what is this? So then I looked a little bit more and I'm like, okay, so it was
Okay.
a bill adjustment at like the very beginning of this year before,
Okay.
well, last year before everything.
So we got even less than nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went backwards from
Yeah.
negative to
Yeah,
positive.
Need to get a patent on
yeah.
Lot of 24,000 to the MERS retirement fund, a little bit to OPEB. There is, money in this for repairs and maintenance, whether we wanna do the CIPP, the pier and pipe placement. Well, again, allows Don to purchase things that he needs, and it fills out the equipment rental, considerably to help cover refund costs. Recoup. Considerable increase in contracted services if
Decrease.
Don has plans that I'm not aware of. Shows up with a bill someday. Not that that happens.
He gets nervous when I bring a piece of paper.
You fold it up too, like a bad grade in school, so I start sweating.
Really worried.
We try not to surprise him.
Yeah, you say it as you're walking out the door, so I can't hear the total, then you bring it back. That's exactly what I told you it was gonna be. I didn't hear you. It was a pretty light year as far as billing anything out and, you know, complaints as they came in to fix things, but the world was shut down.
Can you transfer a little more to the retirement fund?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah. That's a 2%.
Oh, they're
for-
doing just fine, Kathy.
That's a 2% for non-union employees, not retirees.
Just kidding.
I know.
The problem was, nobody ever cared what we did with retirement, we didn't have to keep track of it. And then when somebody had to put it on paper, it was like, wow. Huh.
We'll be good. I think it's valuation year 2030 and actual year 2031, but,
Well, and even when you get up around 75, they're quite
oh,
pleased.
they back off you and they don't
Yeah.
care.
75%. Did you not charge anything out to telephone before, and this year you decided, whoops, we better charge some out there?
For telephone,
Yeah, you charged $100.
an extra bill from Verizon.
Huh. So we're not doing the equipment rental thing at all? You're not gathering money together for computers?
We're not doing it for computers, but we are doing equipment rental.
No, see, there's the
Oh.
computer equipment
Oh,
rental.
no, we covered that with CARES Act dollars this year. I think we're okay.
Okay, so you're just not putting any money away
Correct,
for extra
correct.
things?
We have everything brand new. Brand new was it Samsung, I think.
We
Yes.
always had plenty of money for computers, but, 'cause Deb liked computers. She wanted to always have money to get new things with. Did we go to water yet, or are we still on sewer?
We're on to water,
Okay.
top of page 12.
You see, we're not using any fund balance, that's good.
And even if we were, it'd be hidden somewhere in a interfund
Somewhere else.
loan with a, with a interfund loan sewer to water for
Yeah.
proposed and,
I didn't see any of that in here, though.
nope. No, we're really waiting for, we're gonna, when Spicer comes through with the preliminary, we have the financial guy lined up, we have the lawyers lined up, and we're ready to go.
Okay,
Just would really like to get 40%.
so you went with who
rate.
you liked?
Yes.
Okay.
It does work here. It does work well with Dickinson Wright as well. The 313 area code throws me off at first, but
Well, it used to be the only one down there. Now, there's so many. That's how you age yourself.
I don't know if it really pertains to us, but I know LB Township, they've been getting about 40% grant on their water system right now, so I don't know if we can get that, but through rural development, but it would sure be nice if we could.
Are they is it a low income community, considered a low
It's
income?
probably a little lower than here, but I don't think it'd be a whole lot different.
Well, what we got back for here is not right.
no.
When they said it, we were in the 50% bracket, that's not right.
But all their improvements, that it's been a loan grant for the most part, they've been getting about 40% grant. which-
Okay,
and I think
who's
that's
doing it for them?
They're, it's, engineer is out of Midland. He was a one-man band when he started out, I can't think of his name right now.
Okay,
But they've grown, but they put in a lot of water main in the last 4 or 5 years. And that's where Stanley's came from, they were doing about a 6-mile project before they got to Fulton Hospital.
okay.
But, you know, the income-wise, I wouldn't think it'd be a whole lot different than us, I wouldn't think so. But
Does it take in, Birch Run?
not Bertrand Township, the school, some of the schools is Bertrand.
Okay,
And going shared areas. Most of it's just. Cause I know, when we requested $6 million, a lot of people freaked out when they see that, it's like, well, we could get 40% of that for free.
yep.
I know Hart's working hard with, the help from USDA to try to get us there.
I think she's supposed to be pretty good at it, so it should, I hope it comes through.
We're close. We're so close.
Grants are such a
You can get
odd thing to work with.
60 cents on the dollar would be wonderful.
Well, seeing like, if they've been getting them all along, then that guy who's writing them has an in at the place where you get the grants. Because I used to write the grants for here for that housing program. I would send in the application, a lady would mark it up with a red pen for me and send it back to me.
Townley is the engineer, that's who it is.
Okay,
And I
she would send that back with the changes that would help better to get the grant, and then I would rewrite it again and send it in.
I think Paula would do that.
But
for
it's
us.
who you know, it really is a who you know thing.
She's been real helpful.
And then once you start getting them, and you handle it correctly, and you do everything you're supposed to do, they keep funding you.
Yeah.
They figure they got somebody that knows what they're doing, and so they will okay your grants
I
again.
think that's what's been happening over there, cause they.
Sure it is.
Every couple of years, they've been doing an extension and getting about the same amount of funds.
It is, and they're doing the right thing when they get the money, and they're not trying to use it on anything else, and, it's a tricky business, that grant stuff. But once you get in, you're in.
The water charges increased. If you look at the expenditures and revenue sheet on top of page 15 of the 18 there, so it says that we are at 104%. We, as you might have noticed, you received your water bill in the mail. So it says that we've received those dollars when we haven't yet. The bills are outstanding, but the system credits us when we send them out, so. I think we'll be good. as you saw, we're 30,000 short, unpaid, 94 active unpaid accounts. I want to clear up of some discrepancies. If the rest of the village does not have to pay for other people's water, that's not, there's a rumor going around that, wait, so I have to pay somebody else's bill because they're not paying? No,
Oh,
sir.
no,
That's
no.
not how that works, but, there are, I think, I've received 2 calls on that, and one gentleman came in to pay, and he had heard that, so, if you hear people saying that, please clear that up. I mean, it could be like consumers where pay somebody else's bill, sure, why not? Pay another, why not? Feeling generous today,
So we took in $18,000 more than we thought we were going to.
that's what we've built
Does
up.
that include one raised quarter?
Yes.
So then why did you only give us $30,000 extra? You, over in the orange coat.
Yeah, I know, no, we could go higher, we could even go, I think,
Oh,
For-
if you look at this is 18,000, and you have to kind of assume it's about a quarter's worth, 17,000 maybe.
mhm,
So 17 times 4 would be
we could even go above
68.
5.
Would be 68,000. You could go to like 465,000.
Yeah.
I think and be fine. Because if you raise these rates and if I walk, well, I guess it would depend. But if I walked in here and I said to you, let me see your budget, and then I say, where is my raise? Where is it?
Right.
Because it's not here. Or would you rather play with the, well,
I'd be happy to increase it, I could go, we could even go to, let's go, I mean, realistically, you could probably,
450?
you'd go to 480, you'd go to 480 and be comfortable. I was kind of thinking, you know, I was looking for, and this is probably wrong, but extra cushion to build back the undesignated fund balance.
Well, it still will. It'll go in the unused money.
And so
But it'll
here-
show right in here.
Here's the question that I have for Paula, that I haven't received an answer on. Is it better to have money sitting in the account when you're looking at getting the grant? Or is she gonna say, you have all that money, you're not using it? So there's my.
We don't have all that money we're
Right,
not using.
right now, we're sitting okay.
Well, no, we're not sitting very
Well,
good.
no, I mean, as far as the grant, we are.
You think 100,000 is a good balance to carry in that fund? I think it needs to be up around 400,000 or 500,000 so that you can negotiate to get a grant by applying some of your own money towards the grant.
And we'll put in 200,000 if you give us this.
Yeah, or, you know, we can go 30-70, we can go 40-60.
And by going low here, though, you're bringing in 60 or 80 more, that could go right into the fund balance.
But they don't know that. This is our budgeted amount to what we're gonna get. Get,
We're going to get more than that.
yes, and we're going to get more than that. So if they look at our budget and say, oh, well, they're expecting to get 430,000, which only puts them like an extra $20,000-$30,000 ahead of what they already have. I don't know. I can't stand not licking my fingers, honest to God.
It's really bad, isn't it?
What are you showing at the end? No, you don't show it. What are you showing the fund balance will be?
I was just looking for that. It's normally at the bottom, it might not be on this report actually, but our last month.
Let me see,
So
revenue.
currently, this is as of
and expense.
January 31st,
You match. You're showing we're making nothing.
in the water fund, we have 179,000.
And right here, you're showing you're making nothing more. Because your revenues match your expenses.
Right.
You're not.
But the money's gonna come in and it'll be over that.
But nobody knows that looking at this, because what you should have is another line item under this line item that says, this is what we have put away, this is what the, what's it called, the equity that's left over or whatever.
Fund.
And when you take the, revenues from the expenses, you have this much, so our fund balance next year will be $80,000 more than what it is right now. That's what you want them to see. Because we have to show the ability to pay the money back.
I agree.
Okay.
You want that fund balance to go up to show that we can make the payment. Your payment on what we're asking for is gonna be what? $100,000 a year?
Probably.
So you've gotta show that you can pay $100,000 a year, and you're only gonna show that by how much we increase water every year to show that we're getting to the point where we can afford to pay back whatever it is we borrow. And that's why I don't like the $100,000. Because it does not show the ability to pay it back.
I understand that, I'm just kinda considering also kinda what Hart said about that, like, is it gonna look like we're not using what we,
I can see
Yeah,
both
true.
sides of it.
that's kinda my, I'm kinda conflicted
That's
about
what
this
I
right
need to know,
now.
which way is better. Your way sounds better.
Don't you think they're gonna look at us and say, wow, they got $3 million, they don't spend nothing? I mean, because in the end, we have a lot of money in the bank, but you can't spend it on water, and they know that, so,
Yeah, so, I mean, on page 16 of 18 shows we're gonna bring in 101,000 more than, so we're gonna put that 101.
oh, you're back in this other one? We're gonna have $101,000 left over
Well,
this
actually,
year?
we're 101 short, right? So 101 short, currently.
Can't do that much.
I mean, that's the, because we haven't used the undesignated fund balance. Is that correct?
Yes, cause Darcy's the one that will
Okay.
give me that adjustment
So,
to do when she figures out the exact
so
dollar.
that
amount.
165 sitting there that would cover it, so it'd be 64,000 that will be extra there, which isn't,
Hart does it USDA, they've got a copy of the rate increases too, so.
yeah, they have everything.
So they know that they're trying to generate money to,
They
Okay,
have that, Paula does.
so that they know we have a plan,
Mm-hmm.
loosely, I guess, so.
I know, but in the end, our plan is our budget.
Right.
And it is a revenue bond, I mean, you have to pay it through revenues in the water system.
You
So
do.
So you might as well.
So they can't
so
look
you
at
might
that
as well
3 million
show-
and think anything, because that's not where we're paying it back from. We're paying it back from the water fund, and that's the only place we can pay it back from. And you can't take general money and put it into water. You can't. Water is a proprietary fund, so is sewer. They have to make and break themselves, period.
Right, they're their own business.
Yep. They're an enterprise fund.
Right.
So,
I mean, so next month, when we come forward with the budget, and there's a surplus in the water fund of 64,000, that would be probably moved to fund equity.
it is moved to fund
I
equity
mean, it's gonna
automatically.
show then,
And I'm telling you, we need it in the fund equity,
I agree.
yeah, because we really spent that. And we had built that up to, what was it, $500,000?
It's 540,000 or something
And
like that.
just like that, it's gone. And so we need to build that back up. And I think this is a legitimate way to build it back up. This is the honest to God's truth. We are making more money. And so why not just put it out there that that's what's going on?
You're right,
You're saving it for capital improvement.
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
I
Anything that's left over, we're saving for capital improvements or something else like that.
I always did it at the end of the year as a surplus, look at the surplus we generated because we didn't
Did ya?
overspend.
You liked doing that?
I
I like
did.
to show them right up front how much money they were gonna make.
Well, some people, they, oh, okay, they're being frugal and fiscally responsible with our dollars, but some people, you know, are of the other mind that just show me what you're gonna do and do it.
Well,
I can see
and
both sides.
there's another theory that if you get, yeah, you're right, if you get too much money, then they say they're not spending enough of the money and they're just holding on to the taxpayers' dollars. But I really liked holding on to the taxpayers' dollars. I did. I like to have the money so if something big came up, you have the money for it.
Yeah.
Flexibility.
That's why, I mean, we have no loans,
Right.
built that building out there for cash. I mean, we always had a reason to save the money and then like build the building, the DPW building, and I don't know. It's just a different way that you and I look
Yeah,
at something.
I like to show surplus. It shows that you're fiscally responsible, and people think, oh, they're using the taxpayers' dollars wisely, especially in tough economic times. They're budgeting just the way I have to budget.
Mhm.
Kind of the same premise of the 5-year, financing of the dump truck. Could we move cash around and buy it? Oh,
Absolutely.
We could. But this,
This is
I have
fine.
to finance my truck. You guys just, nope, we're financing it too. We just have a tax exempt,
Mhm.
1.75% rate. We're trying to be responsible because there's uncertainty in our future as well as yours. We get it, and it's more of a political point than it is a budgeting.
Well,
And that's where I gotta change my thought process because I'm not sitting on that side anymore, but that's how I would've done it on that side.
Okay, and we are,
Because when
we're
you go,
not trying to save the money for nothing. We're trying to save the money so
Right.
we can make the improvements that have to be made in this town
Right,
on water lines.
right.
They're gonna make us do it if we don't do it. Or we could do what other big cities do, just sit around and spend all the money and wait for somebody to come and say, do this, and you go, we don't have any money.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
That's not very fiscally responsible.
But they got everything replaced, didn't
They did, and that's what really ticks me off.
they? And we all paid
The Flint thing, we paid for that.
Oh, yeah.
So you wanna raise the water charges in?
Well, I just think they should be more,
You wanna, let's say 475?
oh, go 460 if you want to.
460? See, the only problem with doing this right now is now Don is gonna want it in the equipment rental and it's not having it done.
Well, I agree with Don. I think it's time to start moving that money over in that direction.
And me and Howard have had a lot of discussion, we're trying to
Well, you hang in there.
equal it out every year, so we're not having a great big expense one year and nothing the next. And we're trying to come up with a plan where whatever the dollar amount is, we would kind of spend that every year working our way, instead of
Okay.
spending a great amount
The-
here and not,
The only thing wrong with that is when you've got a dump truck sitting in your way, and it's a huge expense.
Yeah, right, but I think we've had some pretty good discussions, and I
Yeah.
think we can come up.
That's an
with-
old dump truck.
We got other old things too, but we're trying to come up with a plan where we can level it out, so it's not 200,000 one year and 30 the next.
Well,
Whatever the number may be, try to,
I think did you say it was a 1991?
the dump truck.
Yeah, see, I'd already been here 15 years when we got that new one.
That truck was here 2 years before I was first hired the first time.
Is that?
It's 2 years old that.
I think Bud Boswell bought that truck.
So
No, that was Hal bought that.
Hal bought that
Yeah,
truck?
Hal bought
Okay.
that one, yeah.
if we can find a plan where it's every 10 years or something, a lot of municipalities did every 7 and then the economic downturn hit and they have the same equipment now that they did
Yes.
back in 10 when they had a 7-year plan, so.
Well, we used to get a police car every other year, like clockwork.
I think.
And a DPW truck every other year. So we either were buying a truck or we were buying a car.
He's
Not a
probably-
dump truck, just a pickup truck.
He's gonna come at me for a new truck next year, I feel it already.
Well, we'll have this guy. We have a 2001 Dodge
Yeah.
pickup too, so, but that's, we have to prioritize it.
It can barely go to the bar by itself, it's okay.
It doesn't leave the village, but it gets around.
That was never the best truck in the world, was it?
I think they had issues when they first bought
They
it.
did.
But now
Okay,
it's okay.
okay.
It starts every time.
And now you're just gonna fix all this stuff, right?
Yep, so that changes the total to down at the bottom, it was what, 535, so now we're up 565.
By the way, this I like. That helped a lot. Knowing what you were doing with the money. Took away a lot of the questions.
So we'll divvy that up probably a little bit to retirement, a little, well, probably more to capital outlay, equipment rental. I'll probably go 10,000 more in water, in the capital outlay, and 20,000 more in equipment or something
For
along
what?
those lines. For the new revenues that are coming in, the additional revenues, as far as expenditures, or do you wanna just put it under the?
Just leave it as a leftover.
Just leave it as, okay.
No, don't spend
Hey,
it.
I'll do that.
God, no, don't spend it.
I'll do that. We'll leave it.
It goes into fund balance, whatever was left over.
We'll move it.
Yes.
Have to add a line item for
That would be like giving Don money.
that. I know, I don't.
It doesn't go to Don, it goes to
Sure.
Fully signed checkbook.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd do something constructive with it.
I'm sure he would too, but if he needed to do it, it would be in the budget right now.
Yeah.
we're trying to come up with a plan where we don't, so for the future, we won't have a 30-year-old truck anymore.
Okay,
Once this one gets replaced, our next one will be up 17 years old, so.
can you lease them?
They're such a specialty, I don't. 'cause
Think so? Okay, I was just curious. Cause we leased those lawnmowers for a while,
Yeah,
and that worked out
That was a
good.
good deal back in the day, because right now we'll buy the truck from International, and then it goes to an outfitter that puts on all, well, half the cost is actually outfitting it.
Okay. And all the other stuff, like the blades and stuff that we bought, those push blades and stuff, will they all fit on this one?
We are not getting this one with a front plow, because we have that loader with that new front plow, which can do anything a truck could do.
Okay,
So we don't need that, so that's where we're saving some money. But the second oldest one does have a front plow, but we hope to never use it. Because the new blade that we got for that new loader should be able to do everything that can do it better.
okay.
That's the plan. And I don't know if you've seen Tito run that new pusher uptown, it does a great job.
No, I haven't,
It's,
but he's good with that stuff.
yeah, it does a real efficient job. It scrapes a lot more too, the old one on a heavy wet snow would leave all that ice.
Is that the one that Cecil told us to get?
That was the old one that used to
Okay.
get the backhoe. This new one we have is totally different.
Okay,
It's similar, but it does has a lot more functions. It can be used as an angle blade.
Okay.
Not just a pusher. So if we ever got a great big snow and had to push the roadside way back, it would have to go.
okay.
And you can see with a dump truck with that big front blade, you're gonna make a lot of residents very
Upset.
upset.
What's he doing?
I'm just thinking about the whole, you're right. So I'm looking at the old, so we used, there were so many deficits for so many, like a decade over there that, you know, bragging about a surplus was a big deal and when you're going for reelection. You haven't had that problem here. You guys always budgeted so well that it's not, people don't think like that.
Right,
And so, yeah, they take 4 million to backfill our budget with the delinquent tax fund, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's just the way I'm, you know, knocking doors, well, there's a surplus for the first time in 20 years. You do that here, people are just gonna laugh at you.
yeah.
So it's just you're right, it's just the way I look at it versus, and I gotta change. I gotta, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the surplus.
What do you
Are we
say?
done with them? Is that the last one?
Anybody else have
I don't know, I
any
wrote so
thoughts
many more
or
things that.
questions?
So we'll fix the numbers and I'll get you a pretty one with the laminate on
Yeah,
it.
but
And we
it's
can
this equipment.
talk about it in a couple weeks. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Sounds good.
So in equipment, let's just go to equipment for just a second.
Yes,
We're only spending 37,442, what's that for?
so that's covering the first payment of the truck.
Oh,
So 5 years, 1.75%.
it's a $20,000 payment every year, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Although Gary Campbell's working on the exact number, so I bumped it up just.
you're not charging the equipment fund for building rental? They're the only ones in the building.
Right,
That helps the general fund.
okay,
So why aren't we charging them building rental?
because it's just a transfer of money,
It is.
so we're transferring, they're to transfer it back to the general,
Well, yeah,
okay, we can do that,
general needs money too.
I agree,
Did you not charge anybody the general? You didn't.
Nope.
Well, that's up to you. I'm not gonna argue that with you. How are you gonna fix the building?
That's in other village halls and grounds,
In what fund?
general fund,
Yes,
using general fund dollars.
yes. But you're stopping giving them the money. You don't think the buildings are gonna need any repairs?
Well, they will.
Okay, and when they do, you'll charge it out to all the other funds?
We'll find the money.
You don't like putting money away, do you? I missed
Got it
that.
thinking.
Originally, the village's hall and grounds this year was supposed to be a $25,000 kitchen remodel. I took that out.
Okay,
Um,
I'm thinking more his building.
Oh, I'm not worried about his building.
You're not. Are you worried about your building at all? Roof?
It has needs, but I wasn't sure how if they charge.
That's how we get the money for it,
Right, I
building rental.
understand, but
Yeah. You know, like the roof,
Carson,
yes. Those little things. Speaking of little things, could we get a tall toilet in the bathroom here?
That's a tall
We
thing.
could probably do that.
oh, you're saying we need one?
Yes.
We can do that.
I'm sure that,
Let's get it all done.
That cannot be handicap accessible.
Yeah,
Because
that's pretty bad.
when you sit down, you cannot get back up. You can't-
You don't have nothing to grab out there to pull yourself
Oh,
up.
and a taller toilet would be much.
It's been there for years, Chris.
It has been there for years and years
You know what
ago,
we
it
can
wasn't a
get?
problem.
They got those, you get one of those risers, but,
Are you talking about, oh, a riser? No, I don't like one. Just get a tall toilet.
if you ever get in a pinch, the toilet out back is a better one.
Is it tall toilet?
Yes,
Okay,
taller.
taller.
Those handicap things at home that Steve used when he had surgery on his.
No, I don't want
leg.
those
No,
either.
look-
I just want a taller
look
toilet.
higher.
I had that for a while too. but- Hour and a half, right? That's not bad.
Not bad.
anybody got any more discussion?
No, he's found every way I had that, to save money and push it aside, and he's gotten rid of it.
I just had one thing quick, and I don't know why this bugs me, but it does. I think I've mentioned it to you before, I'm not sure, and I know it's consumers' a problem, I'm sure, but that telephone cord electrical pole right there by the Frank's parking lot. On East Bell there,
Oh,
that thing looks like it's gonna break off anytime.
oh, not that one. I was thinking of the one where you're on Water Street and it just sits right there in the middle and if somebody's coming out and you're going in, you don't know what to do.
Yeah, no,
But you're over on
I'm talking,
Bell Avenue.
if you turn on East Bell, at the first drive into Frank's, there's a pole right there. And that thing looks like it could fall over anytime.
Really?
Mhm.
We could
I
make a
don't ever
report.
go out that
We
side.
can-
We have a new little system where we've been, what, 1 out of 2, they come out a lot faster if you,
Yeah, if
Make it
it's
an
a-
emergency.
If it's a danger, they'll come out a lot faster.
It
You mean
looks to
like if
me
it
like
really falls over?
Or-
Yeah.
just like that.
Or if they have a crack, if you can see a crack or something.
Okay.
Because I know the street lights during COVID, they weren't repairing them unless they were a health and welfare or safety.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't, we had to report some and they weren't even addressed, they weren't a safety concern, they said it was a maintenance, and they weren't doing it, so.
Okay.
Somebody backed into one on Entrepreneur and
I'll have to look at that one, Kathy. I usually come in and out the backside, so.
Okay.
Yeah, they did fix that one hard, because it was laying halfway over the road.
yeah. Busy.
The most famous pole was this one out here in the parking lot.
Oh, people hit it all the time.
The one that bugs me is that one on Hampshire that's almost.
Oh my gosh, that thing's horrible.
But they
I mean, I've
won't-
lived on that road for 10 years now and I still get confused by it every time I go through that corner.
They don't like to move them unless.
Can't believe that thing hasn't been hit yet.
It has.
That's one-
Well, I mean, bad enough to knock it over.
That's one corner we saw real good.
I mean, it's only like, what,
Barely-
6 inches off the
It's
road?
barely out there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hardly, it's horrible.
I haven't noticed that.
Although they did replace the one by La Francis because that guy hit it,
Mm-hmm.
and that got set back just a little bit, but
Yeah, they
it's
don't-
bad.
They don't like to move them just for any reason. But Kathy, we'll look at it.
Yep.
I appreciate that, thank
If
you.
we can save some kind of safety issue, we will look at it.
How about a motion to adjourn?
I don't know, is there anything else to talk about? We haven't been together all year.
I know.
Oh, we're low key.
I move to adjourn.
I'll
Support?
second. I'll second.
Anybody good support?
She did.
I did.
You gotta speak up.
Ah,
Sit next to
He
a
must
desk.
be on his wrong side.
This is my good ear. All those in favor?
I.
Thank you, everyone.